John Wick Chapter 3. Holy cow, did I just see an action movie? This movie hit on all cylinders for me for the action junkie in me. Probably my favorite action franchise of all time is either Mission Impossible or James Bond. Kind of depends on which movie is the most recent. Right now, it's probably Mission Impossible. And this is starting to feel on the same level, except for where it's R-rated. We can do more with the violence, and so it's arguably more satisfying than those movies for me. Of course, this one's picking up right after the second installment, Chapter 2 of John Wick, where he's got the excommunicado pending on his head. So basically, all of the assassins in New York are about to be hunting down John Wick, which, by the way, I think I probably don't want to take a trip to New York anytime soon. I get that this is probably not the way it is, but I'm pretty sure every single person is an assassin in New York. But you start the film off basically with John Wick trying to make his way through New York just to live and survive, and you waste no time getting into the violence, and the violence in this movie, I mean, I don't know of very many movies where I leave the theater and I go, the violence. That's totally how this movie was. The violence in this movie was just so entertaining and so exciting to watch. I mean, look, John Wick, he killed a guy with a book. With a freaking book. What? As over the top and ridiculous as all of this is, somehow it still feels realistic. I mean, at the end of the movie, you've got these guys coming in to the Continental when it's been deconsecrated and they're wearing armor, and you can't shoot through their armor. You can't do it. These are not stormtroopers, ladies and gentlemen. There were also moments of violence that made me cringe and laugh in my seat with how uncomfortable they made me, such as the knife in the eye. If you've seen the moment when there's that knife is slowly approaching his eye and you see his eye, and it's just like the slowest kill you've ever seen. Woo! Halle Berry, by the way, super awesome in this movie, and her dogs might have upstaged her. I mean, Halle Berry had some amazing action sequences, which, by the way, she's obviously been training for this stuff. I think this movie finally does Halle Berry justice. I mean, if you look at her in the James Bond movie, I mean, she was kind of just like eye candy. She didn't do nearly enough. In this movie, she's total badass mode. But the dogs playing the role that they play, taking all these guys out in Casablanca, was just really exciting to watch as well. And speaking of Halle Berry, she set up probably my favorite line in the whole movie, where the guy, obviously Bronn, I don't remember his character's name, but Bronn from Game of Thrones, of course, he shoots Halle Berry's dog. Fortunately, he's got the dog body armor. And so Halle Berry loses her mind. She goes all Daenerys on us. And John Wick is telling her at the end, yo, take it easy, take it easy. The high table's not gonna be down with us killing Bronn. And she says, he shot my dog. John Wick just looks at her and says, I get it. Best line of the movie. Because I walked away from the theater so elated, it's hard for me to be critical about this movie, because from a fan standpoint, there's really nothing to be critical about. It was just such an exciting, fun movie to watch, and it did everything that the fan in me wants. But the critic in me, there are a few things that I could probably get critical about. Like, for example, this movie really just plays to the violence, and it doesn't lean on John Wick's story arc nearly as much as it does in the first two films. And so you probably get a little less of John Wick's personality, his character, as you do in the other films. Also, I'm gonna call BS on it being night, because at the very end of the last film, it was very light outside, and it's within the hour, all of a sudden it's pitch black. Come on. The movie might be lacking a good villain as well. Speaking of criticisms, the adjudicator lady, I mean, yeah, she needs to die. She's kind of like maybe a Dolores Umbridge, where she's not sweet like Dolores Umbridge, but she's just like that character that just gets under your skin subtly, and you're just like, oh gosh, will you die? Of course, they didn't give us that death. Kind of pissed about that. But I think the villain we had in 2, in D'Antoni, was a bit better than this villain was. The movie also had some really great splashes of comedy. I'm gonna call it kind of like a Marvel kind of feel to it, where it's serious, it's in the moment, but it does it differently than Marvel does. Too many movies, I think, try to mimic Marvel. Like, I felt like The Last Jedi, for example, at the beginning, that sequence with Poe and Hux, just felt too much trying to be Marvel. To me, John Wick, it's its own flavor of serious comedy in the middle of it that reads well to me, and I buy it. it, and it still just makes me laugh my ass off. Parabellum is setting up a really exciting fourth chapter for the John Wick franchise, which I buy now. This is a franchise. It wasn't just a couple good movies that Keanu Reeves was in. This is a franchise. It's got an underlying plot that I'm interested in. You got Lawrence Fishburne's character and Keanu Reeves. They're going to be going against the high table. Definitely sets up some exciting stuff for the next film. Speaking of Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves, I like that they put some subtle nods to the Matrix in this film. Like, for example, when Keanu Reeves asks for guns, he says, "I want guns. I need guns. Lots of guns." Direct quote from The Matrix. Love it. Which, by the way, this is so satisfying because Keanu Reeves deserves a franchise like this. The Matrix really let him down. I mean, the first Matrix was amazing. Second two, not so much. We finally have a series that Keanu Reeves deserves on, and boy, does he play it beautifully. All in all, this is a great film. It is a great action film. It's not a great plot film. The story is not extremely compelling to me. I mean, it is compelling. It's not phenomenal, knock your socks off, but the action will certainly do that, and so I definitely recommend going to see it. See it in theaters. Don't wait for Redbox. This movie's going to be a lot better in the theaters. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more movie reviews, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, my brothers, don't forget